All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I'm going to make a quick video here. I'm going to try to cover four, I think, if I can. I want to look at open, big BBAI day happening right now. They should be dropping earnings. I don't think I've seen anything drop just yet. I think I might want to talk about Regati a little bit, just at least some quant stuff, and then I do want to talk about SOFI. So that's hopefully the 1, 2, 3, 4 right there, all right? And it's been a while since I've looked at open, and truly, I missed this Friday. I sincerely regret missing this Friday, but a lot definitely happened on this day right here. But really, today is what caught my eye. Obviously, 21% is a big number, but really, we got over 3 moving averages. We retested this 810 line, and I mean, I'm not going to try to put too much emphasis on aftermarket, but hey, it's nice to see that it's over that line right now, right? So a lot going on with open right now, okay? BBAI, so I'm seeing it go up after hours right now, all right? I don't think I've seen any sort of earnings headlines or news. Obviously, as I make this video, I will look at the news and see what's going on. But yeah, we're climbing a little faster than I saw, but it's been hovering around 7%. Again, I'm just waiting for the news to come, right? We're either going to break that little cluster of moving averages, and if you see my mouse, I'm also including that 20 moving average, right? Or we're going to be falling down below the 20. It's going to be a one of the two, right? Regati, look, this is a little bothersome. I'm going to go back to regular hours right now. This is a little bothersome because, again, I'm going to talk about the market shortly, but today was a monster NASDAQ day. 2% is incredibly low. 1% is incredibly large, let alone more than 2, right? Like 2 point whatever. We're right back over all the moving averages. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, and I will shortly. I woke up at 6:30 in the morning. I was ready to watch this green, red. I thought turned to a green, and it didn't. And it very much bothered me. And that's kind of been the theme the last couple of weeks, right? Like these small mid caps, obviously they had monster runs, right? So maybe I'm just a little bit greedy, don't get me wrong. But I'm surprised that this thing didn't go up, and that's at least more than anything the main message I wanted to say. And then SOFI. I love this candle. Really, this kind of reminds me of open, actually, and this one I did see. But this is a big candle. This now makes me think, let's one more time retest the all-time highs. And again, more than anything, and this is the transition, we now have the S&P 500 right back over all the moving averages. We have the S&P 500 on the daily at a very low 57 RSI, right? We don't have green over red quite on the MACD just yet, but we are positive. We never went into the negative. I do like the flip on the RSI that I've talked about, and obviously more than anything, we are over all the moving averages, right? When you look at the weekly, this is also still really good, right? You go up, you come down, you go up, you come down, you go up, you come down, you go up. We just came down and it looks like we're ready to go back up. Still a 71 RSI on the weekly. That's very nice on the S&P 500. We already saw the daily. I'll show it one more time, but just look at this NASDAQ right here, right? We don't even touch the 50. We still have not had a single candle touch the 50 moving average since we broke it in May, right? There was really close right there, but you can see the black. There was obviously went under during the wick, but I don't care about wicks, right? The candle closed all the way up there, and then obviously we're right back there. Really the same echo on the RSI and MACD comments, and the weekly is basically the same thing, right? This thing just keeps bouncing on the 8 and bouncing on the 8 and then taking off, right? So I'm liking NASDAQ. I'm liking the S&P 500. I'll just show the Dow Jones just to show it. All three are in a nice, strong unison, right? So with that, again, I'm here to believe that all stocks will do well. The one thing that's kind of been showing itself is not all stocks are doing well. And man, it's been so frustrating. But again, I've been using this metaphor a lot lately. We are the generals of our army, right? And I've always referred to the army as every single dollar in the trading account, right? You don't take your army to get slaughtered, right? You wait for your right moment and then you go, right? And that's kind of been what I feel like is the theme. Very much annoyed by that theme. Trust me, I like momentum and let's go, but yeah. I'm glad that the government looks like it's going to be coming back on. I know there's a lot of mixed reviews on that, but hey, we're not here to talk about politics. At least turning the government back on is a good thing. Hopefully, a little bit of market uncertainty goes away. I imagine in about a month and a half, maybe around late October, we're going to start wondering if there's going to be another shutdown behind it, right? So hopefully we get like a nice month and a half of decent trading right now, all right? So with all that said, before we do go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh, I'm so grateful for it, all right? So let's start with Open, and it's been a very long time since I've started with Open. Open used to be the very first stock I would look at when I woke up. And again, from this first monster run to the second monster run, clearly there's reasons for it, right? It is now a must watch going into tomorrow, all right? And clearly when you break 3 moving averages on a single candle, that's gonna get my attention, let alone when you're now trying to get back over all 5 moving averages, all right? We've been hunting this 810 line for a very long time. It is literally been this entire month and a half. That's been the struggle right there, right? And if we can get over that 810 and we see these lower indicators, which I'm about to get into, there's gonna be a lot to like on Open. And when we look at the weekly, all we really did was hold the 8 moving average. We never even candled that 20, which is also very nice to see, all right? A little bit high RSI, sure, I would say that, but I mean, there's room, and we can see it. This thing went all the way to 89, right? So plenty of room from 70-something to 80-something to make a decent couple-week run. And if you watch that opening thoughts, I'm kind of looking for like a month and a half of decent trading. I think that's a decent 4 or 5 weeks. That'll take us from the 4 or 5 candles is what that'll be here. That'll probably take us to that 80 something, right? So I'm hoping the momentum and that trading window is here. It is all about 810. All right. Again, I said it. I'm going to say it one more time. I for sure see it going up and staying above that after hours, but regular hours matter most. Okay. If this thing comes back down to 750, I'm clicking at 745, but if it comes down to 750, it is actually still bullish. Really, we just don't want to lose 715. All right. I'm clicking. I think I would even drop it all the way to 7. We don't want to go below 7. All right, it's more than a 10% drop, so obviously that's going to suck, right? No one wants to lose double digits, but theoretically, this is actually relatively bullish, even as low as 7. I'm calling it bullish as low as 740, and really, I'm actually very bullish as low as 780. Okay, again though, if this breaks 810, I think we're going to really try to fly to $10. You can see my line is at 980. Okay. If I was going to put a confirmation number, I would put it anywhere between 870 and 880. Basically, I'm doing 50% of this candle or 50% of this candle right here, right? So that's really what I'll be looking for. And if we can start getting into those 850, 860, 870 numbers, I'm going to start thinking basically 980 right after that. And the line after that, I think, is in the 11s, right? So that's actually a pretty nice place to be. This is a must watch. As long as we're over 7, you have to keep it on your radar. What I'm really interested about is volume. All right. What made this thing go crazy was starting to get over this white line right here. All right. What made this go crazy was at least living at the line, let alone a couple days of over it. Right. We've been nowhere near the white line. And hey, I'm glad we at least stayed relatively flat instead of like tanking like that. Believe me, that was an option, right? But I'm now starting to believe maybe we can start getting back over that line. You get me over all the moving averages, I'm going to start thinking we're going to get back over that line, right? So look for volume. I think we're really going to be looking for 300 million shares. If we can get 300 million shares, that means in a 7-hour trading day, we need around 43 million shares. Get me over 85 million shares by that second hour. Oh, and open will be very hard to stop, all right? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Let's come into BBAI. Let me grab my phone. Yo, I see it going up even harder now. I think that has to mean good earnings. Let me just refresh my phone. All right, so they're reaffirming their guidance. All right, that's not bad. Earnings per share was beat. That's huge. They actually beat sales estimates as well. Yo, this was a nice earnings right here. This was a nice earnings. I think what I'm going to be looking for is getting over 690. All right. If you get me over $6.90, I'm going to start thinking that 777 line we've been talking about for a while. If it breaks 777, we're going to run to 10, basically echoing what I just said on open right now. I'm liking what I'm seeing right now. All right. When you beat earnings per share, it's generally a very, very good thing. All right. I'm looking right here. It looks like the earnings per share, they were expected to lose 7 cents per share. They actually only lost 3 cents per share. So that is a rather significant beat, right? They were a little more than 50% better than that expectation. It looks like the sales were around 33 million instead of the estimated 31. Generally, when you're going to couple an earnings per share and a sales revenue beat, that is very, very nice right there. I'll probably go through the other headlines later. I'll start skimming this, but I think those are the two big things I like seeing. I do like seeing this reaction. And one more time, get me over 690. If this can get over $6.90, what's this line? Sorry, I'm just looking at that. Yeah, 685, 690. I think somewhere around there. If we can do that, I think that's going to start being really, really nice. Look, RSI is a very, very low 42, and that includes this after hours pop, right? We actually closed regular hours down at 32. We're making a nice pop right now, and it's still only a very low 43, right? Wasn't that long ago that we got to a 93 RSI, so that could be a nice run if it goes that high. And one more time, you get over 690, and there's not going to be a lot to stop it, all right? So 690, 777, and then 981 are my 3 lines up that we're looking for, all right? I think the important thing to say, because it is an important thing to say, excuse me, a little hiccup right there. This must stay and hold during regular hours tomorrow, all right? Obviously, we're all looking at this right now. It's actually come down a couple percentages since I've been talking, right? But I need to see this candle happen, hold, and close during regular hours, all right? That's a very, very important thing. Again, what I do really, really like is the fact that NASDAQ is looking really nice. I do like the fact that NVIDIA is looking really nice. Hopefully BBAI earnings will get to ride that tech sector and NVIDIA AI leader love right there, right? I'm just gonna flash SoundHound really quick more than anything for, oh man, I really liked their last earnings a couple days ago. I'm so surprised this thing is still sitting on the 100 like that. Let's see if BBAI, can give this thing a little bit of love, but at the moment, this one's the focus, this one being BBAI. Let me at least talk about the downside. Look, I know this all looks good, but you have to talk about both sides, right? I would be at that point, look, I think this is hard to talk about because I already know we're up here, right? All right, this is going to be the most educated thing I can say. If this loses $6, all right, if this loses $6, I think we're basically coming back to 550. All right, again, I know we're up here at 6 something, right? But regular hours in my head don't count. They really, really don't, right? This is based on good earnings. So there's you can tell in my head, I'm thinking it's going to hold. The worst thing you can do is assume. It's just this market's wildly crazy, right? So don't lose 6, I think is the most educated thing I can say. But again, I'm really liking how this after the earnings went. I do like this nice, because again, I know it says +9, right? But we were down, right? Were we down? No, not. It's basically +9. Okay, I thought it was a little bit red and adding to that, but yeah, let's just see how things happen during regular hours. All right, so let me look at the weekly. I don't think I looked at the weekly just yet. Ooh, 690. Look at that, right? If you look, the number is actually at 681. Break 690. You're over all the moving averages on the daily. You're over all of them on the weekly. That is the money line. All right. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. I want to quickly talk about Regati. Okay. And I might talk about a couple other ones real quick, but yo, this is concerning. And you just saw it. I was on post market and this thing's actually dropping a little bit more after hours. I don't understand why. All right. We have a NASDAQ that is going up and is looking good. I know there's a lot of people that kind of talk about fundamental stuff, right? Like, I'm not a fundamental guy. I know that there's not a lot of revenue in a lot of these companies. I know there's still like a lot that needs to be done for quant to really be like, we're not here for the realities of today. We're here trading for the futures of tomorrow. And it's very odd to me, and I've been echoing this because I'm telling you, it's not like I have, I've got these things that I call the one and the two, right? Like, I'm using this easy scan to like look for tickers and stuff, right? But like, I got nothing magical. Like, it's tough trading right now. It's not normal trading right now, right? And yo, Regati should have bounced on the 50. We've never used the 50 since September, and if you look, like none of those are actually like, that's the last candle that touched it, and it was in August. I would have never guessed. If I made a video on Friday, I would have said we're bouncing on the 50, especially after I knew that the government shutdown was done, especially after I heard all this like stimmy check coming out again. Yo, I would have bet a paycheck we would have bounced up on the 50, not dojied it with a little bit of like after hours fear. Yo, that's not normal trading, right? You look at QBTS. I mean, I'm glad there was a little bit of a bounce right there, but yeah, I would have expected a bigger bounce, right? QUBT, I mean, how are we down at the 200? IONQ, you just had earnings. They actually weren't that bad. How are you, like, it's odd. I don't understand why quant is, and I know people are going to say they made big runs. Like, what are you expecting? Yo, I'm expecting more runs, right? Like, all-time high NASDAQ, really hot sector, et cetera, right? Like, there, it's something's off, all right? And look, I know a lot of people are asking me, hey, is this a good time to accumulate and this and that? Like, I don't accumulate, right? Like, I trade when the trading is there. That's just who I am. So make sure you know your strategies and all that. But at the minimum, I at least need to stress, yo, this makes no sense. And sometimes there's a little bit of a sanity backing up or reaffirmation. I don't know what the word is, but like, misery likes some company, and yo, I don't understand why these all look as tough as they do. All right, so more of a general comment than a technical comment, but look, we got to get over all the moving averages, right? There's none of these had real great channels either, right? Like, I personally wouldn't want to trade that 33 to 37. Yeah, I guess it's like a 10% trade as I'm saying these words, and I'm never here to throw away a double digit, but like, get me over here and let's run again, right? Like, that's what I'm a little more interested in. But maybe if this can get over 35 something, I'd be a little more interested. But yeah, it's annoying. All right, so let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Let's end it out with SOFI right here. And yo, I'm liking this, and I think the main reason I'm liking SOFI is because of the index Unison. NASDAQ bounces on the 50 over all the moving averages. S&P 5, SPC, sometimes typos do good things. It did not here. SPX bounces off the 50, comes over here over all the moving averages. Even the Dow Jones, and again, SOFI is a bank. Financial institutions are as Dow Jones get. This thing is basic. All three are over all 5 moving averages. They just need to confirm tomorrow. We're not here to assume it's going to happen, but we want it to happen. They all have really good lower RSIs. It can go all the way up a little bit more, right? Like, the index market is nice. SOFI is testing all-time highs. That means there's no resistances up here. It's just the blue skies of Los Angeles. I'm looking out my window and I see them. I see it here. We're just literally a little bit away from it. Get me over this. And I mean, we tested it. Obviously, I see this candle. The easiest line to say is 31.32, but if we can break this little bit more, $30.63, literally a dime over where we closed, there's going to be so much to love on SoFi. All right. Talking on the downside, look, if this was to drop down to below 30, like 29.90, I'm okay with it. I'm actually very bullish all the way down to 29.40. All right. Just don't lose these moving averages. And all I'm going to assume is you're going to ride them. Right? I would love it to bounce up and take off and do bigger, silly things, right? But that's not really what SoFi does. SoFi just rides a little bit above and up, up, up. You know what I mean? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Even if you disagree, oh, I appreciate you so, so much.